let's try it now. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down on that? If you can hear me now. So someone's watching. Marzi says, you're upside down. Okay. Remarkable. Remarkable. Okay. I'm sorry it was upside down. An iPhone. So my laptop is not, there's no Facebook Live option. We've been looking for about 10, 15 minutes. We can't find a Facebook Live option. So I'm on my phone, but I need to charge the phone. So I put it sideways, but that didn't work. So I put it upside down and that didn't adjust to it. So now it's working. Great. Great. So I've got 73% on my phone. Let's see what that does. You know, I even bought this silly little device here because these iPhones, you can't charge them and have a headset at the same time, right? So I found this device that allows you to charge and use a headset, but you were just telling me the headset's not working. So there's always something. There's always something. Okay, Kristen says it's perfect now. Thank you. And Donna says, there, you got it. All right, good, thanks. And Jocelyn says, you can't hear. Brian's watching. Sabrina says, hello, hello. Ciao, Sabrina. Can you hear me okay? Can I get some thumbs up if you're hearing me okay? Jocelyn says, finally, Dr. Tom from California. Teresa says, hi, Doc. And it's 4:15 Pacific, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time, 1:15 in Italy. My honey is in Italy. We were both trying to get this thing to work, and for some reason, Facebook is not giving me the option for Facebook Live on my computer. So I'm on my phone, and let's see how this goes. So hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Today's topic is, you can't keep a good man down, the hard and soft of masculine energy. And when so one of my staff, Kim, said, how about you can't keep a good man down? And I said, oh, that's a good title, but let's tweak it a little bit. The hard and soft of masculine energy. She said, oh, no, you can't do that. I said, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Because the average male today has 1/3 the testosterone that his grandfather had at the same age. That's the average today. And you've heard me say before, in a meta-analysis, which looks at a lot of studies on one topic, they did a meta-analysis of sperm count in healthy men, and what did they find? I'm sorry this is not set up for you properly. Let me see if I do this, if that helps a little bit. If I do it this way, oh, it doesn't really help. Okay. Oh, Lynn's in Australia, and it's 8:45 on Wednesday morning. Sorry, everybody. Hi, Lynn. Thank you for joining. I'm trying to get this set up so that, well, I'll just have to accept it the way it is. That's just how it's going to be for today. It's this beautiful background behind me, but it's set up for the computer, not for the phone. So the phone catches too much of what's behind it. So let me see if I can bring it a little closer and see what that does. Sabrina says, the beauty of live streaming, laughing out loud. You're right. You're right. You just got to laugh about this stuff. I did an interview yesterday for the 5th Anxiety Summit that'll be coming out in a few months from my friend Trudy Scott in Australia. And the things that cause anxiety, you know, this could do it. This one could do it. But we're here. We're here. Okay, the meta-analysis. They looked at a number of studies on the topic of sperm count in healthy men. Sperm count in healthy men, not infertile men. And in 37 years, there has been a 59% reduction in sperm count in healthy men. Now, that doesn't mean anything to anybody until you realize that scientists worry about extinction of a species at 72% reduction in sperm count. And we're at 59% in 37 years. What do you think is going to happen in the next 20 years? Oh, we've got someone watching from the Philippines. It's Red Sambilia. Thank you so much. And Sabrina says, I love this international crowd. I agree. It's really empowering for me to see that people are here from all over the world. Thank you, everyone. Carlton's here from California. Tracy says you're fine. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Okay, good. We're good to go. So men and women, but today's topic is about men more. It's a huge problem, just a huge problem. And where's it coming from? There are a number of contributing factors to it, but the primary contributing factor is the amount of environmental toxins that we're exposed to now every day. You've heard me talk about this before with women and with children in their brains, with pregnant women in their brains. And Sabrina's Austin, Texas. Paula's in Alaska. Way to go. Hi, Paula. You've heard me talk about pregnant women and their phthalate levels and how it affects children's brains. And the highest levels of phthalates in women during pregnancy, the highest 25% of women with phthalates, the highest level of phthalates in pregnancy, the highest 25%. Their children, 7 years later, their IQs are 7 points lower than the kids who were in the lowest quartile. Mom was in the lowest quartile of phthalates in urine in pregnancy. 7 points. And we know about the effects on women in many other areas and the effects on babies with breast milk and babies' brain development. Now for men. Men have the exact same kind of problems that these toxic chemicals accumulate, and these chemicals are called endocrine disrupting cells or endocrine disrupting hormones, and these chemicals accumulate in the body and they disrupt your hormones. And for men, it disrupts estrogens, but more testosterone. And what does that mean? It means infertility. And it's a huge problem now. Back in the 90s, it was 1 couple out of 5. Now, some studies say 1 couple out of 3 are having a hard time getting pregnant and using some type of medical intervention for that. Now, as a segue for a moment, and this fits right into the topic that we're talking about, my friend Jeffrey Smith has just completed his movie, Secret Ingredients. Please go online and watch this movie. It's free. I think it's still free. I think you can still access it. And in Secret Ingredients, he interviews a doctor who has a 100% success rate in dealing with infertile couples and helping them get pregnant and have a healthy pregnancy. 100%. And what does she do? The first thing she does with every couple, gluten-free, completely squeaky clean, gluten-free, and organic. Everything is organic. The spices are organic. If you don't have organic food, don't eat. Promise, you won't starve to death. Don't eat. You miss a meal. If you're out somewhere and you can't find an organic restaurant, don't eat. And do you want to get pregnant? Don't eat. And the result of that kind of strong position, she has a 100% success rate. Because these toxic chemicals affect, they're endocrine disruptors. They disrupt your hormones, which can affect men or women, either one. Rhonda's here from Alabama, and Renee's here from, I don't know, they just keep popping up. And Jocelyn said, great movie, thank you. Sabrina says, and then you see ads on TV for products promising to increase testosterone. Right. There's a whole market out there for that. And men need increased testosterone, but the way you do it, first off, is you measure your hormone levels. And if your testosterone levels are low, you get testosterone. You take testosterone. But the test that you have to do, there's only one test that's really comprehensive, and that is from Meridian Valley Labs. That test is not, I don't think it's on our website. It's from Meridian Valley Labs. It's their testosterone analyte test. Because it's important that you have enough testosterone, but also what's important is that your body's utilizing that testosterone properly. Yes, Karen, don't eat. Karen says, what? Don't eat? Yes, don't eat. If you miss a meal, you won't starve. Promise. And you don't want to contaminate the hard work you're doing to stay organic and no GMO foods whatsoever in an attempt to get pregnancy, you have a little cheat here, a little cheat there. What does it mean? I don't know what it means, but you certainly are sabotaging the likelihood of your results. So when you see the movie, Secret Ingredients, and you hear this doctor talk and you see some of the couples that Jeffrey interviewed, you realize, wow, that just makes sense. Okay. And for your kids with autism or with attention deficit, they need Ritalin or Adderall, same thing, completely organic. It makes a big difference. Tracy says, she's replying to Karen, if your only choice is GMO food, don't eat. You're supplying your kitchen, you're learning how to supply your kitchen with organic protein powders, and you've got frozen organic blueberries, and you've got coconut water, and you can make smoothies and do fine and take them with you when you're traveling until you can get to food, and you find restaurants that have organic food, or you pack lunches when you're going out as a family. Our team and in clinical services walk you through all of the little tidbits, all the little pearls of how to eat an organic lifestyle. And it's really important. For some people, more important than others. But when you can't figure out why something's not working right, then for sure you want to be doing this meticulously. Don't put your foot in the water. Dive in, and just notice how you feel a week to 2 weeks later. Just a couple of weeks and notice how you feel. Makes a huge difference. The Dr. Brain Valley test to check testosterone levels. Yes, that's correct. Thank you, honey, for putting that up there. Susan says, carry your own food with you. Yes, sometimes you have to do that. Why is it others can eat anything and get pregnant? And let's see, what is the whole question doesn't come up, Karen, on my phone, but you're asking why is it others can eat anything and get pregnant and other people can't? Well, how come some people get migraines when they have an exposure to weed, and other people get seizures but no migraines? Or other people get joint pains but no seizures or no migraines? Or other people get brain fog but no seizures or migraines or joint pain? It's our genetics and how we've lived our lives. And now the generation that is fertile now have mothers who were young teenagers in the 70s and 80s and grew up eating all the garbage food that the commercialized processed foods that began really in the 60s, or grandmothers that took medications that affect the children in utero and affect the next generation, the grandchildren. Some of those drugs have effect down the road quite a ways. So it just depends. When you're not getting the results that you want with the protocols that you're trying, you try something new. The definition of crazy is doing the same thing and expecting different results, right? So you try something new. That's why base hits win the ball game. That's why you always are allocating one little step a week. Marzi says, stay on topic. Okay, I am. More than less. Thank you, honey. Okay. I'm convinced next change for me is organic. Way to go, Annie. That's exactly right. Nathan says, hey, Dr. Tom from Lake Havasu. Beautiful area, Lake Havasu, Arizona. Beautiful. Esra says, thanks for all the amazing education. You're most welcome. Enjoyed the Betrayal series. Thank you so much. Guys, one of the things that we have to do is avoid environmental toxins. Completely, every chance you get, anything you can do to avoid environmental toxins. What does that mean? Well, this whole concept of base hits win the ball game. That means every week you allocate 1 hour to do something new and something different that's going to become part of your lifestyle, that's changing the way you look at your life, right? So what does that mean? Well, if you have your clothes taken to the cleaners to be cleaned and ironed and all that, then what do? You find a green cleaners that's not using toxic chemicals. And it'll take you an hour. You go online, type in, say, green cleaners near my home or near this zip code, and you find green cleaners that they're not using toxic chemicals. They're using safer compounds to clean your clothes, because when you wear a shirt that comes back from a standard cleaner, it's outgassing these chemicals for days. You can't smell it, but it's outgassing for days. And when those chemicals are outgassing, you're breathing them right in. And for those of you that have heard me talk before about the smell test, I think everyone should do the smell test. Honey, let's put the link in there for the smell test. It's theDr.com/smell. And it's just amazing, or theDr.com/smell test 10. And that's if you want to buy 10 or more of them. There's a discount for that. But at the Dr.com/smell, I put 5 studies there so that you can read some of these studies and you can see if you're losing your sense of smell, it's not a problem with your nose. It's a problem with the memory center in your brain. And the chemicals that we're breathing, they go right up straight back to the brain. And they trigger inflammation in the brain and the area of the brain called the memory center, the hippocampus. And you're killing off hippocampal cells. And that's the big kahuna in stopping cognitive decline and brain fog, is stop the inflammation in your brain. Critically important to do that is identify where the triggers that are causing that inflammation and then what can I do to stop it? And that's what the whole book, You Can Fix Your Brain. That's what it was about, is all of the contributing. Nail polish. You put nail polish on, if it's standard nail polish, then in 3 to 5 minutes, the phthalates in the nail polish are in your bloodstream, and they're toxic to the brain. Pumping gas. If you smell gas when you're pumping gas, that's benzene. You're smelling benzene. It's toxic to the brain. So what do? I have to pump gas? Well, of course you do, but walk around to the other side of the hose. Now you're upwind and you don't smell it anymore. Or better, walk away if you can from holding the hose if it's got the little clip on it so it'll continue to fill without you holding it. Those are some of the things. You have to learn these little things that will make the difference. And for guys, there's a whole list of products. Now, I'm going to take a moment here to see if I can get on the Dr.com. Or Marzi, honey, can you send me the link and I can open it up on my computer? Because I can't open it up on my phone. And I had planned on opening it up on the phone. Because we put a list of products together for Father's Day. And we sent a couple of announcements. And if you've seen those announcements, and they're both actually on the Facebook page. I just saw them when I was trying to get online on Facebook. The first one is a picture of my son and I when he was 4. I think he was 3. He was 3. And so we're running, and I had dark hair at the time, and I'm carrying a stroller because I was pushing him in the stroller. This was a 1-mile fun run, and I was pushing him in the stroller, and he wanted to run. So I stop, I undo the safety belt clip, and he gets out, he starts running, and he trips and falls. And he's there crying because his knee's all scraped up. A 3-year-old. I'm just holding him and say, oh, it's okay. Oh, I'm sorry. That's all. Here, let me kiss it. And if you look at the picture, you see his knees all scraped up. And then I heard, and I said, Jason, listen. And he looked up, listen. Because around the corner was the finish line for the 1-mile run. We were really close to the finish. And everybody's cheering. I said, listen, Jason, they're cheering for you. Let's go. And you see the picture. He's got his tongue out to the side. He's got little fists in his hands. And it's such a great, empowering picture of what focus and dedication can do. It's a great picture. And as we use that for part of the Happy Father's Day, which is coming up this Sunday. And so there's a list of products, and I want to talk about a couple of those products if I can access a list here. I'm not quite sure how I can do it. Gabriella says, great info, Dr. Tom. Your new book is speechless. I'm so privileged I found you. Oh, thank you. And be able to read both of your spectacular books. Thank you for spreading the message out with the world. Thank you. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much. That's really nice. And let's see. Marzi just sent me something. Let me see if I can open it on my computer and see what. Yep, there it is. Okay, so let's see if it opens up. Sorry, guys. This computer. We'll find out by next week. When I'm solo and we don't have any guests, then I do it on my computer. But today, for some reason, Chrome won't give me the option for live stream. So I don't know why that is, but that's what's going on right now. Okay, I've got it, honey. I was able to open it. Thank you. It's kind of cool. My wife's in Italy, but we're corresponding here and doing this together. She is my foundation, and I'm really grateful. I get to go home to her this Sunday. This will be a 5-week trip. I've been out lecturing in Seattle and Scottsdale and San Antonio and Austin, and now I'm in San Diego. Starting tomorrow, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday, I'm lecturing here, and then I go home on Sunday. So it'll be great to be back together again. This is, 5 weeks is a long time, kind of hard to do that. Okay, so let's talk about some of the products, guys, and what really helps. Well, the first thing, if you've been following any of our messaging or reading the books that we have out there, you know that I talk a lot about wheat and wheat-related disorders and the problems with it. And just 2 weeks ago, I think it was, I told everyone that the most important, the most respected journal in the world of gastroenterology about the gut, the journal in the English language, the journal is called Gastroenterology. And they published a paper in March that showed that 32%, they had 5,674 items that they ordered on gluten-free menus in restaurants. And right there at the table with this portable equipment, they checked to see, is there any gluten in this gluten-free product? 5,674 products. And what did they find? 32% of everything is not gluten-free that's labeled gluten-free. 32%. Gluten-free pizzas, 54% of gluten-free pizzas are not gluten-free. Gluten-free pasta, 52% of gluten-free pasta is not gluten-free. It's like, what? And if you've heard me talk before, and I've talked about the studies, every human gets intestinal permeability every time they eat wheat. Every human. So if you're human, if you're listening to this and you're human, and I think most of you are, some of you may think your husband's not very human sometimes, but if you're human, you get intestinal permeability every time you eat wheat, whether you feel it or not. Yes, Dawn, this is horrible. This is really horrible, because this is why celiacs don't heal. Only 8% of celiacs heal on a gluten-free diet. Only 8%. 65% still have inflammation and intestinal permeability, which is the primary mechanism in getting sick and dying, is inflammation. So how do you protect yourself in this world if you are needing to be gluten-free and you notice that you feel so much better when you are gluten-free? How do you protect yourself? And yes, Karen, most people don't want to hear it. I know they don't. Well, all right, we'll put it on your tombstone. They didn't want to hear it. If you want to get healthier and you find that these studies that I talk about are right on the money, but you're just going to put your head in the sand, okay. Well, I love my pizza. Well, I know that. There's things I love too that I just can't do anymore. So please take heart here with this one. What do you do? That's why we created the product E3 Advanced Plus, the digestive enzymes E3 Advanced Plus. Someone just made a comment. Who was it that made the comment? Dawn said, everyone I talk to says gluten-free is a fad. I try so hard to educate. That's true, Dawn, and that's the way that people that don't know dismiss it. It's just a fad, right? And, Jimmy Kimmel did something on the street one day. He interviewed people and said, are you gluten-free? Yeah, I'm gluten-free. And he said, what's gluten? And they go, yeah, it's not good for you. I mean, it was very funny that people didn't know what gluten was, but they were gluten-free. So the result is some people are doing it just because it's a cool thing to do. That's true. It's never going to harm you as long as you do it properly. If you learn how to do it properly, it's the best thing you can do. But for people who say, I don't feel bad when I eat wheat, I don't have a problem with it, this is what you have to know. Every cell in your body regenerates. Every cell. Elena's watching. Hi, honey. Oh, it's my niece. That's my niece in Detroit. Hi, honey. Every cell in your body regenerates. Every cell. Some cells are very quick, like the inside lining of your guts every 2 to 3 days. Some cells are very slow. Bone cells are slow. Brain cells are slow. But every cell regenerates. So what happens when you eat wheat? Every time you eat wheat, when it comes out of the stomach into the small intestine, within 5 minutes, it tears the lining of your gut and you've got intestinal permeability. But the fastest growing cells in the body are the inside lining of the gut, so it heals. So you have a sandwich for lunch, it heals. You have pasta for dinner, it heals. You tear the lining, but it heals. You have croutons on your salad, you tear the lining, but it heals. You have a bagel the next morning, you tear the lining, but it heals. This goes on day after week after month after year until one day you don't heal anymore. And when you don't heal anymore, now you've got pathogenic intestinal permeability or the leaky gut. You still don't feel it. You don't feel leaky gut. But now, because of the tears that are there, inflammation gets into your bloodstream, and the inflammation causes, when you get a leaky gut, you get a leaky brain. That's why so many people have brain symptoms or brain fog. Now, the Alzheimer's Association has told us this year, 1 elder in 3 dies with dementia. 1 elder in 3. That's right, Gabriella, that's the answer. Gabriella just wrote the answer in there, is that when you lose oral tolerance, it's so cool that you guys are writing the answers, and then I know it's working. Thank you so much. When you lose tolerance and you don't heal anymore, now you get the leaky gut, and now you get these molecules getting into the bloodstream that cause inflammation that goes systemic, that plugs up your pipes and causes atherosclerosis, or causes leaky brain, and you get depression or anxiety, or killing off brain cells, and eventually you get Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, that the whole mechanism then begins for degeneration. Dawn asks, can gluten cause me to have Meniere's disease? Yes, Dawn. I wrote a paper on this with a group of otolaryngologists in Milan. I think it was 2014. And I think it's on my website on reversing Meniere's disease. Not every Meniere's patient will have it, but here's how you find out, Dawn. You get the wheat Zoomer test done. You go to our site, we'll put the thing in here, and you get the wheat Zoomer test done. If you got a problem with wheat, that test will tell you. If you have a problem with wheat, then you talk to our clinical services team about what do you do, and you clean that up, and there's a very good chance it will help you with your Meniere's. Very good chance. So every time you eat wheat, you tear the lining of the gut, but it heals until one day it doesn't heal anymore. That can be 2 years old, 22 years old, 92 years old. When you lose oral tolerance to this, now you get the systemic inflammation that continues and continues and continues. That's why the products that we put online and recommended for the Father's Day sale, which is going to go through tonight, by the way, we extended it to accommodate this Facebook Live, so the sale goes through tonight. That's why these products are all centered around inflammation and healing the gut. Rebuilding the microbiome, rebuilding the good guys in the gut, inflammation, and healing the gut. That's why all of these products are that way, because that's the primary thing you can do that will help you with whatever chronic condition you're dealing with. It's just a basic 101. You got to do that. So the first product is E3 Advanced Plus. That's the digestive enzymes that you take before you start eating food, so that it's at the very bottom, and it digests 99% of any inadvertent exposures to wheat that you might get, or gluten that you might get. 99% of it. Now, Angela wrote something here. Daniel Schroeder Byers wanted you to hear Dr. Tom. He's the best resource for understanding leaky gut. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Daniela. So, E3 Advanced Plus, you take it before every meal. When you are eating anything that's not absolutely 100% not contaminated, like you eat vegetables or fruits, fine, no problem. You eat vegetables, a salad with salad dressing, you take E3 Advanced Plus. Because who knows what spices they used in the salad dressing, unless you make it yourself, oil, vinegar, and organic spices and salt and pepper, then you're fine. right? But you take E3 Advanced Plus. You're having a glass of wine in the evening, you take E3 Advanced Plus. And just Google wine and gluten, and you'll see the studies that talk about sometimes, not often, but sometimes there's wheat residue in wine. And some vineyards, they add wheat to the wine. I don't know why. It's a filler of some type. I don't know why they do that, but they add it. So Marzi's posted the Nutrition for Men link here so you can see it. So the first product is E3 Advanced Plus. Now I have to move the phone a little bit so I can see. Okay, the next product is vitamin D3 with K2. Vitamin D, every cell in your body needs vitamin D, every cell, without exception. There's only two substances that every cell in your body uses: thyroid hormone and vitamin D. So vitamin D is critical to healing the gut, critical to testosterone production and utilization, critical to sperm production and utilization. So, and you want to check yourself to see what's my vitamin D level. So we'll put the link here for the vitamin D test. It's a simple finger prick test that you can do at home. You can order it and do it and see what's your vitamin D level. The K2 drops, the K2 added to it helps your body to utilize vitamin D better. And it helps you build strong bones, and it helps keep pliable blood vessels, meaning nice elasticity to your blood vessels. So your blood vessels can do the wave, you know. Do I do that well? You can do the wave. My daughter is such a great dancer, and her body is just like a wave at times when she dances. I always try. She says, "Dad, give it up, man. You are not cool. Give it up. You can't do that." So, but it was fun to try. But that's what K2 does, is it helps your blood vessels be pliable, right? Leanne's watching. Hi, Leanne. Leanne's here from Australia, and a few other people from Australia. Thanks so much for tuning in. So that's vitamin D3 plus K2. The next, if there's only one product that I could take, what would it be? Well, it's really a toss-up. You know, it's a flip of a coin between vitamin D and colostrum, because colostrum is nature's way of healing your gut and creating a healthy microbiome. There's nothing more potent than colostrum. The first 3 to 5 days of mother's milk is in, it's not milk, it's colostrum. Colostrum carries these messengers that turn on so many genes, because baby in utero is severe intestinal permeability. It's normal for baby to have severe intestinal permeability when they're inside mom, because they're in this soup, you know, and things are just flowing through everywhere. The eyes, the nose, the mouth, you know, the gut, the reproductive system. Things are flowing everywhere. There's not a lot of sealed barriers. But the birth process is starting to say, okay, let's close up some of those barriers, and colostrum turns the genes on to heal the gut, turns the genes on to build the receptors for the healthy microbiome, the good bacteria that are supposed to be there, feeds the good bacteria so they can prosper, so the bad bacteria can't get a hold with it. Kin asks, what about B12? B12 is a great product. It's a very helpful product. And it's a second tier, in my opinion, second tier product for healing intestinal permeability and supporting the microbiome. It's important. B12 is critically important, without a doubt. But if you've got a limited amount of resources for supplements, then you get more bang for your buck with some of the other products that I'm talking about than B12. But everyone should be eating foods that are high in B12. And you want to know what they are? Just go to Google and type in vitamin B12 in food, and you'll get a whole list, and you can see which foods are highest in B12. Really important, especially for vegetarians, critically important. Some of the sickest people I ever see are vegetarians, and it's because they have severe protein deficiencies. And protein is essential to build new cells. Every cell in your body regenerates, every cell. But if you don't have enough of the building blocks to regenerate, what are you going to do, right? So I've got to check my phone here and see what the power is on it. I don't know how to check it. I can't get off of this main screen. So I'm just going to have to arrange the positioning on my phone here just to make sure that we have enough power. So just one moment, please, while I've got the power cord. I have to think about how am I going to support the phone, lifting it up enough so that I can put the cord, because the cord's on the bottom side. Hold on while I look at this. I'm sorry to be doing this, but I don't want the phone to die. So I'm going to have to come up with something. I know what I'll do. Okay. I'm going to move the phone for a minute, so bear with me while I do this, please. And I'm plugging in the charger. And now I'm going to support the phone on both sides. And let's see if this works. Good. Okay. We're okay there? Good. Yes. Jeannie asks, can I develop resistance to E3? I take it sometimes every time I eat and I still can get contaminated. It seems it's used to help way better. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not familiar with that kind of a problem, Jeannie. I've never heard anyone say that before, and I can't quite think of a mechanism as to why that would happen. So I'm afraid I can't answer that one for you. I don't think there's a resistance to the enzymes. That they're not working as well as they used to for you would probably mean to me there's some other form of contamination that you're getting, most likely. Mary says, I have pernicious anemia and autoimmune gastritis, so I have a hard time absorbing much. You sure do. You sure do. And the question is, where is it coming from? If you haven't done it, Mary, I would wager, and I'll do it here with you, I'll wager you $100 that when you do the Wheat-Zoomer test, if your immune system is accurately working, if it's capable, meaning it's not worn out and just pooped and not able to work, then you'll get an accurate answer from the Wheat-Zoomer test, and it's going to come back and tell you, you got a problem. You got a problem with wheat. And with this kind of an autoimmune disease, gastritis, what that means is that the immune system is attacking the stomach, and the stomach's not making enough of the enzymes that in the hydrochloric acid or the mucin to protect the lining of the stomach. So these people sometimes are more at risk of ulcers, and also they don't make enough intrinsic factor. That's a compound made in the stomach that helps you absorb your B12. So they have lots of problems, but I would start, Mary, with the Wheat-Zoomer test and see. You've gone gluten, dairy-free for 5 years. That's marvelous, Mary Dalton. Way to go. Let's see, who was it? Her name? Mary. Yeah, Mary Dalton. Yeah, Mary. You've been gluten-free for 5 years. That's marvelous. However, you would want to do the test. Oh, did I just switch